Okay, the extent to which individual values differ from average is called dispersion or measure which indicates the dispersion is measure of dispersion. One, first measure of dispersion is range. Second is quartile deviation. Third is mean deviation. And fourth, variance. And standard deviation. First two, that is 1 and 2, are positional. Measures of dispersion. And third and fourth are computational. First, range. Difference between the largest value and the smallest value. Coefficient of range. Largest L minus S upon L plus S. L is upper limit of highest class interval. And S is lower limit of lowest class interval. Okay, so we write down definitions of range and quartile deviation and we look at the example. Quartile deviation. In this, measure middle 50% of the distribution is included. First and last quarter of observations are excluded. So Q3 minus Q1 is interquartile range. And Q3 minus Q1 upon 2 is quartile deviation. So, and coefficient of quartile deviation is equal to Q3 minus Q1 upon Q3 plus Q1. आता हळू मी जेव्हा एक्झाम्पल घेईन तेव्हा हे सगळं सांगेन समजून. आता नुसतं लिहून घ्या. if n are total number of observations, then Q1 equals n plus 1 by 4th observation, and Q3 3 times n plus 1 by 4th observation. If they are fractions, then corresponding increment must be done. Okay, so find the range and quartile deviation for following distribution. बरं, आता याच्यामध्ये नोटेशन शिवाय दुसरं काहीही नाहीये. कशाला काय म्हणतात ते. आता Q3 कसा काढायचा, L कसा काढायचा, S, दॅट इज व्हॉट वी विल लर्न बाय सॉल्विंग प्रॉब्लेम. सो क्वेश्चन.
तर जर n+4 ला जर 4 ने डिव्हिजिबल असेल तर n+4 घ्यायचा की n/4 टर्म घ्यायची. जर Q1 मध्ये n+1/4 फ्रॅक्शन येत असेल आणि n+4 म्हणजे n हा स्वतःच जर 4 ने डिव्हिजिबल असेल तर n+4/4 घ्यायचा की nth ऑब्झर्वेशन घ्यायचा.
बघूया आपण 2-3 गणित लिहिलेली आहेत माझ्याकडे.
ओके.
काय करायचं ते ठरवूया. ठीक आहे. Find the range and quartile deviation of following distribution. Zero to 50, 15, CI.
Sir, we have to find the range and
Range and quartile deviation. Cumulative frequency. 0 to 15, 8. Cumulative 8. 15 to 30, 26. 34. Cumulative. 30 to 45, 30. 64. 45 to 60, 45. 109. 60 to 75, 20. 129. 75 to 90. 70. 146. 90 to 105. 4. 150. Okay. So whatever you have understood, you find out the answers. So find out range, find out quartile deviation. I give you 5 minutes. Okay. There are total 150 observations. So 150 divided by 4. Is equal to 37.5 observations is your Q1. First 37.5 observations is your Q1 technically. Okay, and 75 observations between 37.5 to 75 observations is Q2. So what will be your Q3? Q3 will be 3 times 37.5, which is 112.5 observation will be first 3 quarters, and beyond this up to 115 is your 4th quarter, right? So now yesterday's formula also we did not discuss much, but now let us see 37.
तर 151/4 घ्यायचंय ना, पण
huh?
151/4 घ्यायचंय ना, n+1/4 ना.
जर ती नंबर ऑफ ऑब्झर्वेशन्स जर समजा अशी असते, रेंज नाही आता हे व्हाय इज दिस प्रॉब्लेम इम्पॉर्टंट, बिकॉज देर इज अ रेंज गिवन. 0 to 15 मध्ये 8 आहेत, तुम्हाला माहिती नाहीत काय. मी जर असं सांगितलं, जर कंटिन्युअस असतील ती 1 observation, 2 5 observations, 3 7 observations, 4 2 observations, 5 8 observations, 6 2 observations, 7 असा जर डेटा असेल 1 2 3 4 5 6 सलग, so here n is equal to 7, and now you are supposed to make 4 parts, so 3.5 will be total. Sorry, हे झालं. ओके, हे क्युम्युलेटिव्ह काय येणार याचं 1 6 7 आणि 7 13 14 15 8 आणि 5 23 25 आणि किती 8 आणि 5 13 33. ओके, लेट मी मेक 8 7. दिस इज 40. ओके, मी राऊंड फिगर घेतला आता इथे 40 आला. सो फर्स्ट 1/4 first one 4 is going to be here 10. 20 will be here.
Sir, shouldn't it be 10.25?
Huh?
Shouldn't it be 10.25?
Student will be 10.25.
40 plus 1 upon 4 केलं पाहिजे ना.
हा,
मग
तुम्हाला
10.25.
बरोबर आहे ना.
कन्सिडर काय करायचं?
40 प्लस 1 अपॉन 2 असे ते 4 पार्टिशन्स करायचे इक्वल. म्हणजे पहिला क्वार्टर आणि दुसरा क्वार्टर असे आणि त्यातले फक्त मधले विचार करायचे. दॅट इज व्हॉट इज द क्वार्टाइल डेव्हिएशन. सो द पार्टिशन हिअर दॅट यू आर मेकिंग इज इम्पॉर्टंट ना. आता समजा 1 ते 40 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 तर याचे 4 पार्ट्स कसे करणार. पहिला पार्ट 2 and less 8 plus 8 divided by 4 6 and less. So these many guys are important to you.
सर मग आपण तो पॉइंट लिहिला त्यात n/4 च ऑब्झर्वेशन पाहिजे ना.
पॉइंट लिहिला त्याच्यात काय
Q1 आणि Q3 ला 3 into n/4 आणि n/4 च ऑब्झर्वेशन पाहिजे ना.
हा तर इथे ते n+1/4 असं लिहिलंय. ह्याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला ऑब्जेक्शन आहे का. इफ देर आर n टोटल ऑब्झर्व.
हा म्हणजे ते कळत नाही थोडं.
बरं. Sonnet by 4. See, the idea is very simple. Total number of observations divided by first one will get into first quarter and the last one will get into last quarter. You are supposed to ignore them and consider the in between ones. That is what is the idea. थांबा जरा हा प्रॉब्लेम सोडवूया, then we will be getting some clarity. कारण आता 1 वर्ष झालं ना, तुम्हाला सांगू शकेन कदाचित. So presently 150 observations divided by 4, 37.5 observations in first quarter, 37.5 in second, 37.5 in third, and 37.5 in fourth. Now what I observe is 37.5 fifth observation is in this particular segment. This between 30 to 45 37.5 fifth observation असणार आहे. आणि म्हणून मग मी कालचा परत एकदा फॉर्म्युला लावतो. Q1 is equal to lower limit 30 plus 37.5 minus cumulative frequency of lower one 34 divided by काय divided by into 15 upon 30. 15 काय आहे डिफरन्स ऑफ दिस 45 minus 30 upon 30. 30 म्हणजे हा 30 हा डिनॉमिनेटरचा. किती ऑब्झर्वेशन्स आहे. सो इफ यू कन्सिडर दिस, तुम्हाला ते अरिथमेटिक प्रोग्रेशन मध्ये इन्सर्टिंग एन जे केलं होतं ना आपण, दॅट इज व्हॉट दिस इज. What is going to be the number between 30 to 45 which we should consider for 37.5th observation. So therefore you add whatever difference you have 37.5 minus 34. Okay, म्हणजे जसं आपण एरिया ऑफ सेक्टर काढतो ना, एरिया ऑफ सेक्टर हा अँगल समजा थीटा असेल, सो थीटा अपॉन 2 पाय is the ratio and then multiplied by area of circle pi r square is the area of this sector. तसंच या इंटरवल मध्ये मी 7.5 मला पुढे जायचंय 30 पासून 7.5. So I distribute these 30 equally and find out how much should I go ahead for getting 37.5. Therefore 37.5 minus 34 into 15 upon 30. बघा समजतंय का. This is the fraction, maybe 30 here. 37.5 minus 34. So that much you want to go ahead. Okay. Out of these 30 observations, so that will give me fraction multiplied by half difference 15. This answer is going to be 31.75. So that is what is my value of Q1. Similarly, Q3, how will I find out Q3? Q3 is 112.5th observation, which is in this zone. Therefore, it will be 60 plus 112.5 minus 109 divided by total किती आहे त्याच्यात 20 आणि रेंज किती आहे डिफरन्स किती आहे 50. So this answer will be 62.625. So that is the value of Q3. This is the value of Q1. Now you can do this calculation and find out the quartile deviation. Is this clear? No questions. Maybe you have ambiguity about this, which we just keep it aside at the moment. If we happen to have a problem which will use this, okay, otherwise is this clear? You are supposed to ignore the first quarter and the last quarter. So concentrate on middle two quarters. That is what we have found out now. Middle two quarters. Q1 is 31.75, Q2 is 62.625. Therefore, quartile deviation is.
Sir, I didn't get the logic behind using the median formula.
You did not get the logic? I will explain. Quartile deviation is equal to Q3 minus Q1 upon 2 is 62.625 minus 31.75 upon 2, which is 15.437. Okay. You did not get this logic. Okay. See, in 30 to 45, there are 30 observations. You do not know which is how many are 30, how many are 31, how many are 32. If that information is available, then it is the data like this. It is not the combined data or ungrouped. This is called ungrouped data. This is grouped data. Grouped data. Like in our result, I said less than 384, 5. Less than 889, 9 students. So I am grouping them. I am not looking. If I look at the entire merit list, it is ungrouped data, raw data, which is organized using ascending order. But I don't want to publish result like that. I want to say, as far as institute is concerned, how many we have less than 1,000. I will say no. How many less than 2,000? I will say 50. How many less than 3,000? 23. So that gives me fair idea about the institute. Instead of getting it, whether it is what is the rank of an individual, this gives you the fair idea of the institute. So now, but the problem is you do not have a specific information about these 3 frequencies, these 30 frequencies, how they are distributed in 30 to 45. So we are assuming that evenly distributed. They are evenly distributed in this 30 to 45. Okay. So if they are evenly distributed between 30 to 45, all these 30, then what is the number at 37.5 first quarter, and we happen to get the number as 31.75. So you have moved 1.75 observations out of these 30 are the first quarter observations, remaining are the second quarter observations. Okay, now you will ask a question, why do we do this? Okay, so The purpose of doing all these analysis, this analysis is very simple, to get the idea of the crowd that you are considering. And let me give you now this COVID example. Out of, I heard a news about a month before, in one big colony, 2,400 tests were conducted, whether symptoms or not symptoms. They conducted 2,400 tests and they got 1,100 tests positive with no symptoms. That data is important. That tells us that about 40 to 45% people test positive independent of symptoms, which is a big number. Okay, and therefore Trump had said once that if your numbers are increasing, that is because your numbers of testing are increasing. You reduce the testings, your COVID numbers will come down. That is what is the statement made by US President. He said this officially. You have increased number of testings, therefore your COVID patients are increasing. And therefore you reduce it, you will get numbers within control, and maybe it has some meaning also. So therefore analysis of this data is extremely important. And all statisticians were busy in the initial phase of this COVID figuring out first patient till last patient, what is the curve, how it grows. After 3 weeks, does it get the maximum? After 4 weeks, does it get the peak and then start decreasing? What is the curve? So there were many theories with which they were predicting that this will finish in September, this will finish in August, etc. But they are improving their data now and they are just postponing. When will the drug come? It depends on the statistics, etc. So suppose now I am directly given a batch. I do not know what kind of students are sitting there. So there are many ways of finding out. What is the average marks of these students in the last exam? Suppose 85. Oh, very good. It must be a very good batch. So average is one way of looking at the quality of the batch. Somebody say, no, there are students who have scored 100 out of 100 in this batch. Okay, so there are some good students. So that is what is your mode. Mode is 100 out of 100. So there are students scoring 100. But that doesn't mean that the batch is good. Maybe a couple of students are there who score out of out, and the remaining, they fail in the exam. Okay, so that is another way of looking at the batch and finding out the quality of the data. Okay, then I might be interested in what is the median. Is median above 50% or is median below 50%? So that will give me fair idea about the distribution. Are there great students more in the class or less in the class? So mode, median and average are some ways of figuring out. But then they are not completely correct. Therefore, they are getting few more like range. Okay, I am not interested in the highest marks. I am a good teacher for the students who get less than 25%, and I am also not good student for the student than 85%. That is what I said. I am comfortable and happy to teach F2, F3 students because I don't like these 85% plus students. That is my way. So I will just look at that Q1 and Q3. What is the bunch? What is the majority of the students sitting in the area? That is what is your population. How many are populated in the top ranks? How many are middle ones? How many are lower ranks? What is the range? So now our range is 30,000. We have a rank 30,000 something, and we have a rank 66 also. Our range of ranks in M. Prakash Institute it's 66 to 30,000. समजते का? So that is why this analysis is important. And as I had mentioned earlier, while booking planes, if the plane booking is done 2 months in advance, these statisticians find out exactly using the data of previous years that how many cancellations take place, and therefore they will book the plane say 20% higher and 10% higher, so that they can utilize that money for a couple of months, and then they will end up having 10% or 20% cancellations eventually, which they will refund the money. समजते का तुम्हाला? त्यामुळे स्टॅटिस्टिक्सचा हा मोठा विषय आहे आणि त्याचे ऍप्लिकेशन्स प्रचंड आहेत. पण आता आपलं कसं झालेलं आहे, यू हॅव बीन टॉट deep in different techniques and topics of mathematics, and immediately now we are discussing statistics, which we are used to deriving the formula, etc. And suddenly you find that what is this happening? Why is this data? And what will happen if that data changes from 30 to 50, 45 to 75? I mean, just it's a data and you have to analyze it. लक्षात येते का? So I hope, Ujjwal, what was your question?
Yes, sir.
Arey, everything is getting recorded, man. You are not. What is your question?
No, my question got cleared. You explained that Q1, Q3.
Okay, cool. So quartile deviation is 15.4375 and range
Sir.
in this case, range is, चला range काढा भैया, range.
सर एक डाऊट
तर
होता.
Q1 पण सांगा.
विचार L is equal to
Sir.
105.
Q1 आपण जेव्हा काढला तेव्हा आपण 150/4 केलं, ते मला अजून हे नाही कळलं की तिथं फॉर्म्युलात ऍक्च्युअली 151/4 पाहिजे ना.
That is what I am saying. You just ignore this for some time. What does that mean? We will figure out. There is a data like this, ungrouped data. I think this is the statement for ungrouped data. Okay. If you have a group data like this, 150 observations, quartile deviation. So basically it is like this. Okay. So you start your observations from here. And if you really plot them, this is 150th observation, then quartile deviation says that you make 4 parts, okay, and ignore these and just consider these many and talk about it. Ignore this. That is that.
Okay.
So don't be that technical as far as this number is concerned. It is 37.5 and I think this is for some odd or even and something like that. We will find out. Okay. So range is L is 105, largest of the largest class, and S.
तर ते 31.75 आणि 62.25 परत सांगाल का कसं काढलं ते?
कुठं हे का? अरे हे आहे ना फॉर्म्युला. हा फॉर्म्युला कसा आलाय ते सांगू का? 30, आता ही 30 observations are uniformly distributed between 30 to 45. Uniform distribution of 30 objects. And now you want to find out what is the number 37.5. So it is a section formula. How many here and how many here? So it is 7.5 ahead of 30. 7.5 ahead of 30. And observations before that were 34. Okay, so it is 37.5 minus 34 is your how much ahead you want to go. It is 3.5. 3.5 you want to go ahead. However, in this 15, you have gone ahead 30. Huh? 15 corresponds to 30. Therefore, 3.4 corresponds to how many? That is the question. That is 1.75. Huh? The 3.4 corresponds to 9. Sorry, hold on. 30 corresponds to 15. Then 3.4 corresponds to how much? Unitary method, 15 into 3.4 upon 30. You have to add it to 30. So that is this number. This is this number. 30 observations in 15 range. 15 width. Width is 15. There are 30 observations. So I want 3.4 observations now. So what should be the width? The width should be 1.75. Someone like, this is a straight, I mean, this is a straight line. This is straight line. This is the slope. I think we are spending good amount of time on this. L is equal to 105, S is equal to 0. Therefore, range is 105. Problem number 2. Quartile deviation of following frequency distribution xi, fi, cfi. 2, there are 3, 4, there are 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 6, 8, 10, 11. ठीक है. आता हा तुमचा रॉ डेटा आहे. रॉ सो 3, 8, 12, 14, 11, 8. Cumulative 20, 37, 48, 56. So now actually here they have used n is equal to 56. 56 observation. So 56 observations, therefore 56 plus 1 upon 4 is your partition line. That is what they are saying. So where will it go? 28 so 14. So it will be here some 14.25 or something like that. So it will be this observation, correct? So Q1 is equal to 6 and 3 times 14, so that's 42.75. 42.75 is here, correct? Therefore Q3 is equal to 10. Therefore quartile deviation is equal to 10 minus 6 upon 2 is equal to 0.5. Okay. So that if it is raw data, then that is n plus 1 by 4. Even if it is suppose 56 by 4, then it is 14, then also it is 6 and 10. I don't think that 0.25, why they must have done that divided by 4.
Sir, I think the n plus 1 you gave would be useful for odd number of observations.
येस सर ते ऑड नंबर साठी वर्क करेल इव्हन साठी नाही करणार.
Even 30 n by 4 or 30 n plus 1 by 4, so that you get a good number. That is your observation. Huh? So your
But still you will get 0.5 value. Like if it is 57, and if we do plus 1 by 4, we will get 19 point, like 14.5.
ते तर इव्हन मध्ये पण मिळेल 78 सारखा नंबर घेतला.
I will just check today evening whether some more information about this n plus 1 by 4 is available somewhere or not. But essentially the concept is you ignore first 1/4, you ignore last 1/4. That is, this diagram is most important. You ignore first 1/4, you ignore last 1/4, and what is the major jump that you have? See, as a educational institute, we also almost do this. We are more interested in these people. Okay, we say, I mean, it is not top 25% and bottom 25%. Maybe it is not true. What we will do is we will not worry about top 10%. They, I mean, whether we teach them or not, they will give us very good rank. We will not bother about bottom 10% because no matter what we do with these, they are not going to give us good rank. Arey, Lakshat Gya, I am just giving you example. Don't quote me anywhere. But I am saying top 10% we need not have to worry because anyway they are going, I mean, they will give us good rank. Bottom 10%, I mean, we do whatever we want to do, we will not be able to do anything with them. Whatever the rank they are going to give is, we should be happy about their rank. Okay. Now, if I really want to have a great result of my batch, then I must work on this 80% of the student. That is why I am behind all you guys. You know that you might not be a top 10%. However, you also know that I am not the bottom 10%, and therefore you need a lot of energy in this zone. And that is what we do, and hence it is something similar to quartile deviation, but in quartile they make 4 parts. Maybe I am making 10 parts of the data that I have. चला पुढे चला, अजून एक लेक्चर लागेल नाही. Okay, mean deviation.
Sir, coefficient of quartile deviation चा काय significance आहे?
Significance. आता असे सगळे quartile deviation चे coefficients जर काढले तर they might evolve some information. For you, there is no meaning. You have to just get numbers, therefore you have to do it. But a statistician might have some meaning to it because he is dealing with a big data. That number will mean definitely something. For us, it is 10 minus 6 upon 10 plus 6. Whatever. And we need not have to get into detail because we don't want to be really expert of all these before 12th standard. If you are interested in statistics, you might as well choose. There are a couple of students who have chosen statistics and they must be doing good in that eventually. Presently, it is for the purpose of exam we are learning. I am very clear about it, and I think you also should be very clear about it. We don't want to spend much time on this because there will be one question in mains. That is the end of the story. If we understand that question and if we know the formula to find the answer, it is going to be a very easy question. Okay. Next. Mean deviation. arithmetic mean of the absolute deviations. Of all the values of the variate from the central value. If central value is arithmetic, then it is called mean deviation. Mean deviation about mean. If the central value is median, then it is called mean deviation about median. This is important. So this will give some better idea of, suppose I have a class of 85% average and lowest marks that a student has got is 80 and the highest is 90. So it is highly homogenized class. But if I have a class of 85%, highest is 100 and lowest is 10, then it is a heterogeneous class. So the standard deviation, so the difference of the value with average, and the average of that is taken. That will give you mean deviation is very popular. So mean deviation, you will have deviation and variance button on your scientific calculator. It calculates very quickly there. So let us see what is the formula to do this. The formula is very obvious. If it is raw data, mean deviation about mean denoted by x bar is sigma I goes from 1 to n absolute value of xi minus x bar. Take the difference with average, add them and take the average of that. For median, it is similar. For group data, frequencies will be mentioned. So mean deviation will be sigma I goes from 1 to n, frequency of I into xi minus x bar what is the difference and what is the frequency, divided by I goes from 1 to n fi. Okay. If you replace mean x bar by capital N, you will get for group data mean deviation about median. Now let me write down a problem and pause recording for 5 minutes. Problem. Find mean deviation about mean. Marks xi, number of students, fi, 10 marks, 5 students, 20 marks, 7 students, 30 marks, 15 students, 40, 13 students, 50 marks, 10 students. This is the data which is given to you. Okay, find out mean deviation about mean. 4 minutes.
सर
बोला, चेंज केलं मी आता स्क्रीन.
ओके
xi fi काढायचं पहिलं, which is 50, 10 into 5, 20 into 7, 140, 450, 520, 500. Okay, so sigma xi is equal to 1660. Sigma fi is equal to 50. Therefore, x bar is equal to 1660 upon 50, which is equal to 33.2. Therefore, absolute value of xi minus x bar. First one is 23.2. Second one is 13.2. 3.2. 6.8. 16.8. Multiply it with the frequency. So fi into xi minus x bar is equal to 116. 92.4. 48.0. 88.4. 168.0. So what is this sigma now? Sigma of this. Sigma of this is 512.8. Therefore, mean deviation about mean is 512.8 divided by 50. Okay. Next problem. Find the mean deviation about mean and median. Size of item. Four, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. frequency. 2, 1, 3, 6, 4, 3, 1. So get me the answer in 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes. Okay, Fi. Cumulative frequency 2, 3, 6, 12, 16, 19, 20. Okay, so x bar comes out to be equal to 10.22 and capital M 10. That is the maximum. Frequency is 10. So this is median. Okay, so sigma xi minus x bar 6.2, 4.2, 2.2, 0.2, 1.8, 3.8, 5.8. Fi mod xi minus x bar 12.4, 4.2, 6.6, 1.2, 7.2, 11.4, 5.8. Done. So this is sigma Fi, summation of this sigma Fi xi minus x bar upon sigma Fi is equal to 48.8 upon 20 is equal to 2.44. Mod xi minus capital M 6, 4, 2, 0, 2, 4, 6. Fi mod xi minus M 12, 14, 12, 4, 6, 0, 8, 12, 6. So about mean sigma Fi xi minus M upon sigma Fi is equal to 48 on 20 is equal to 2.4. Right? That is what is the answer. Shall I give you one more problem? Okay. Find mean deviation about mean for following distribution using step deviation. Okay, I will explain what step deviation is. Class interval 2 to 6, 6 to 10, 10 to 14, 14 to 18. And frequencies 6, 8, 4, 2. Okay. Now, first of all, if it is a class interval, I mean it's a range, what you can do is you can write down xi directly, which is the midpoint of this 6 plus 2 by 2, 4, 16, 8, 12, 16. Okay. Now, what you do is you first find out mean deviation by our method, and then we will see will the calculations be little less if we do it using step deviation. So first job is to find out mean deviation. 3 minutes. So the same numbers need to be used. Okay, let me explain the step deviation method. You choose any number a as 8 in this case by observing these xi's, and h is equal to 4. So yesterday we have seen yi is equal to xi minus 8 by 4. So you compute this. So instead of using xi's, you will be using yi's. Therefore, fi into yi is minus 6, 0, 4, 4. You find out absolute value of yi minus y bar. Y bar. So you need to calculate the y bar. So y bar is sigma fi yi, which is 2 divided by sigma fi. How many observations are there? 20. Right? So y bar is 20 upon 2 upon 20 is 0.1. So yi minus 0.1, that is 1.1 absolute value. Similarly, second one will be 0.1, third one will be 0.9, fourth one will be 1.9. So these are smaller numbers compared to the calculations that you have done. Fi mod yi minus y bar.
minus 0.1.
Huh? काय झालं?
दुसऱ्या ह्याला
Okay, so now sigma fi yi upon sigma fi, that will be y. How much it is coming? Y bar will come, this was 14.8 upon 20. .74. So mean deviation about mean is, what formula we have used? Y bar, y is equal to x minus 8 upon 4. Right? So 4 into 0.74 into 4 plus 8 is equal to, किती उत्तर येत आहे? अरे काय झालं?
10.9. 10.96.
Is this correct? What we are doing is, this is y bar, we have got 0.74 is the mean deviation. चुकलं काहीतरी.
Sir, it should be only y bar into
तर 0.1 च्या ऐवजी minus 0.1.
X bar should be equal to 4 times 0.74.
and I think it comes 2.96.
It should be 4 times 0.74. That is your X bar. You also got this answer. Correct? So the advantage of this step deviation method is these numbers are smaller numbers to deal with compared to what you dealt with right now. But I mean, for all our fabricated examples, it doesn't make any difference. But if the data is really huge, computational time and energy required will be very high, and mistakes will be very high if it is done manually. Therefore, step deviation method might be useful. Okay, so now we are left with variance and standard deviation, these two things. Then our statistics also will be over, but I don't want to do it now. next lecture, because writing that table itself takes time and solving that problem. So we will solve 3-4 problems on variance and standard deviation in the next lecture, and then I will have to figure out a specific topic for you to do in the next lectures. I mean, once this is done. Okay. Doubts, difficulties, questions?